Happy Friday, guys. I thought I'd hop on and talk about how to get through rough times, how to ride those rough waves tonight. So I had a post the other day about Mercury retrograde season. Oh God, I love those GIFs and memes. There's some really good ones. But yeah, so I just wanted to come on and share my story with you because I know that a lot of you are going through this, whether or not you're into astrology, whether or not you think retrograde season is for real or a bunch of crap. I mean, we're all going through rough times, right? Or some of us are, maybe not all of us, right? I don't want to generalize here. But I just wanted to come on and share my story, or at least one of my Mercury retrograde stories. And I didn't even actually realize it was retrograde season until about a week and a half ago. Someone mentioned it to me and I was like, oh, that's why all this shit's happening. Right? Right. So what it was is I was planning on going to, sorry, still mosquitoes around here. I was planning on going to, out east to the Maritimes for Thanksgiving to spend some time, with some cousins. So if you're watching this, I love you and I miss you. And we had been planning this, for a little bit, right? And the last couple of weeks we were kind of flip-flopping, like, was it just me that was going to go, or was it all four of us, you know, my husband and my kids? We're trying to figure that out. And then we're like, okay, like, I'll just go. And then it's like, and a few days later, we're like, no, you know what? We're all going to go. And then life happened. And we couldn't go for, for reasons that were completely out of my control. And it was kind of back and forth for like 1 or 2 days. We weren't sure, but then I got the official no. And so then we're like, okay, like maybe we could go, you know, like a few days, like just delay it by a few days, which had been another option. But then I was just like, you know what? Until everything gets sorted out, you know, whatever that, you know, the reason why we couldn't go until it gets all sorted out, let's just not, right? Let's just wait till later, till a better time comes. And so the kids were, actually, like, I was pretty surprised that the kids weren't that disappointed. Like, they were, that they couldn't see their cousins, especially if they're watching. We miss you all. But, so one of the things is, usually when something disappoints us, right, we're disappointed and we complain about it. We keep talking about it. You know, we keep it's like when you have like a scab or something and you keep picking at it, right? So often that's what we do when a situation doesn't work out the way we want it to and we're disappointed. Which again is a very common response to it. There's a different way. So, not that I wasn't, I was disappointed that I couldn't see my cousins when we were planning to see them. But I was just like, all right, well, that's how life goes, right? And often, you know, even when you're, you know, there's no sense complaining about it. It's not really going to change the situation. The only thing complaining is going to do is, make you feel more crappy about it, right? So I was like, okay, you know, kind of like, okay, like, that's off my plate. That's done. There you go. And then you know what happened? Like, immediately after, I got news that my brother and his family are coming down to visit us. You know, coming down to visit us. So that's amazing, because again, we don't get to see them very often. And if we would have gone out east, we would have missed their visit. So they're actually on their way down. So if they're watching this, hi, or at least if my sister-in-law is watching this because my brother's driving, we're really looking forward to seeing you. So do you see what I mean, guys? Like, there's always kind of a reason behind why some things don't work out. And think back in your life, right? I'm sure there's been lots of times when things didn't really work out, or they like totally didn't work out the way you wanted them to. And, you know, you're really disappointed and, you know, or maybe you were stressing about it, you were worrying about it, you were angry about it for a really long time. But the thing is, that doesn't change the situation at all. You're just dragging around those heavier emotions for a longer time, instead of just kind of accepting it as it is and, you know, waiting to see how it all plays out. And that's what I did. I was just like, okay, I accepted it. You know, even if I was still a bit disappointed, and I waited to see how it would all play out. And well, it played out that I get to hang out with my brother and his awesome family in a few days. So I'm really excited about that. So, oh geez, I wrote down some notes, but it's getting really dark out here. So again, when we're going through rough waves, we really have to, I mean, the thing is, we just kind of have to accept it and like relax into it, right? Not be so tense with those heavier emotions. And this can be really hard, especially when we're not used to it, right? Because often a very common reaction that we live through and that we see others exhibit too is, again, that disappointment, constantly talking about it, you know, all these things, you know, carrying around those heavier emotions like disappointment and sadness and anger. Well, again, that doesn't change the situation. It just makes you feel shittier for a longer amount of time. So we have to learn to accept it, be like, okay, that's how this is playing out right now. Let's see what's coming next, right? Let's see how this unfolds. Let's relax into it and see kind of like what life makes out of this. And this is really hard. This takes a lot of practice. And even when you're really good at it, it's still, you know, it's still kind of tricky because you'll often still catch yourself. But some other ways to do that. So if you find that you can't really relax into it and accept it as, you know, as that situation comes up, what you can do is, I mean, we still want to get it out of our body, right? We don't want to keep this disappointment or this anger, or this sadness in our bodies, because that's just going to weigh us down. It's going to add to our stress. Not good. So what we want to do is, like, let's do some physical activity, right? Let's do, like, high cardio is really good. So if you like running, if you like jogging, if you like any kind of, what are those? I forget what the term is, but my husband does them all the time. Like, you have to do a certain, you know, a certain amount of exercises in a certain amount of time. Like, there's really high cardio exercises, right? Like, it's a whole workout in like 10 or 15 minutes. Not for the faint of heart. Things like that. Do yoga. I mean, there's some very like light, easygoing, you know, flowy kind of yoga workouts, but there's also some like tough ass yoga workouts out there. And you know, again, we gotta move this out. We kind of have to like burn off this energy. So maybe just hop on your bicycle and go for like a really good bike ride. Okay. And we can also journal about it or write a letter about it. So the writing the letter exercise I really love. So let's say you're like pissed off at someone. Write a letter to them. Like, don't type it out. Actually, like, write it out. Because that's, oh, is it P90X? Yes, Miranda. Thank you. I forgot the term. Yeah, P90X. Those videos. Yeah, my husband loves those. Right, so back to the letter writing exercise, because this is great, guys. And again, don't type it out. Grab a pen or a pencil. Write it out. Write a letter to the person you're pissed off at. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your boyfriend, whoever it is. Write a letter to them. Tell them, well, whatever you need to tell them, right? Get it off your chest. Write it out on paper. Don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. Be completely honest. Be freaking mean. Whatever it is, get it out of your system. Put it down on that letter. Then after, you can shred the letter, or you can, you know, you can burn it. If it's a full moon, you can burn it under the full moon, whatever the hell you want to do with it. Don't show it to the person, though. I'm sorry that it's getting a little dark. But this is really great because, again, it's a physical activity, maybe not as intense as P90X. But you are physically getting those emotions, those thoughts, that heaviness out of you. And it really does help. So this is especially useful, like, let's say if you have like a really tough conversation that you're going to go in, this is a great way to do it. But yeah, so when we're in those really tough situations, guys, and even if it's, even if it's not necessarily a person that's responsible for our disappointment, our situation, well, let's write it out anyways. Write a letter to the situation. Be like, hey, I don't know, whatever the situation is, like, hey, F face, like, da-da-da-da. Write it all out, guys. Swearing is allowed. This is for your eyes only, okay? And after, you're just gonna get rid of the letter, whatever. Shred it, toss it in little, cut it up in little pieces, flush it down the toilet, burn it. That is going to really remove some of that extra crappy emotions, those heavier emotions that you don't really need, okay? And sorry that it's dark. I should have put the porch light on, because now I can't read my freaking notes. Yeah, so this is really important. And when we're hitting those, when we're riding those rough waves, when we're hitting those walls, these things are important to keep in mind. And also outside support, because often when we're hitting those walls, when we've, there's also the expression, like, when we've kind of plateaued, like, we're in a situation, we don't know what the hell to do about it. I'm going to try and turn the porch light on for you guys. When we're in those situations, often, when we're hitting those walls of whatever it is, we need someone that's been where we are and's gone through the other side, because they're proof that we can get to the other side, right? And they've done it before, so they know how to do it. And like, especially these rough, when we're going through tough times, when we're, again, like my little story there with my trip got, like, kiboshed. I mean, if you hold on to that, that's going to follow you, I mean, all throughout your day. And I'm trying to get this porch light on for you guys. It's not working. It's going to follow us through our day. It's going to follow us in our sleep. How much sleep have you lost when you're worrying about something, right? Or you keep going over. Yeah. So that is my whole rant and my little share on Mercury retrograde season. So if you guys find that you're struggling, there's the light. Bloody hell, these sensors. So if you guys find that that you're struggling with things and it's affecting your sleep, I'm hosting a 5-day workshop at the end of the month. I don't have the dates on me. I think it's like the week of the 25th or something. And where I will be teaching you more of this, more of these tools, more of these techniques, okay? And I don't share all of my system because it would take way more than 5 days. But I do share some really great tips for you guys. So if you're interested in that, if you want exclusive access to that, drop sleep in the comments and I'll get you access to that 5-day workshop, okay? Again, it's at the end of October. So how have you guys been managing these, have you been going through some tough times? Even if you're not an astrology buff, or if you don't follow astrology, I mean, sometimes Mercury retrograde season is a doozy, and we may not necessarily put 2 and 2 together, but one of the things about retrograde season is they say don't travel. So that was another reason why I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to kind of put off this East Coast trip for now, until the planets are spinning in their proper axis or whatever. Because, I mean, clearly this was a sign of the universe being like, don't travel, it's not a good idea, stay home, right? So let me know, what have your experiences been? Because that was like kind of the biggest story, but there's a few other ones. And I did put a post on my page too. So share with me, right? Like, what have you been finding, like, the past couple of weeks has just been, like, kind of extra rough, right? So let me know. And, do you have other ways of dealing with those, those really, those shittier times, right? So let's see what is this. People are commenting here. So, oh yeah, Miranda with P90X. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so Miranda shares that she loves yoga and weightlifting and squats when she's having kind of those rougher times, those like more high emotional times. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Miranda, for your feedback. It is definitely, there's a lot of people that are going through more difficult times here. And I mean, that's life sometimes, guys, right? I mean, sometimes life it just seems that you have, when you're playing poker, it's just like, you just have really shitty hands all the time. But for those card buffs, it's not necessarily the shitty cards that you hold, right? It's how you play them. It's the same thing with life, Sometimes life gives us really shitty situations sometimes. So we can either let them drag us down, like with those heavier emotions, or we can see it as an opportunity to try something different, right? See where our strength really lies. Just like when you have shitty cards, I don't play poker, but I mean, we play a lot of Go Fish here. So yeah, so how do you, maybe that's what you should think. Next time, you think the world's against you, or, you've hit a wall, you don't know what to do. Instead of looking at it like, oh, fuck, again? Be like, okay, let's try something different, right? Let's try some of these things that Natalie's been talking about on her lives. Right? What do you got to lose? You're going to feel a whole lot better if you're learning to let go of those heavier emotions, the disappointment, the anger, the sadness. You're going to be feeling a lot better, guys. Letting them go however you choose. And I've mentioned a couple methods here, so the people that are popping on, make sure to watch the beginning too. Right? Are you using those methods? Or are you kind of doing the same thing that you always do, and then wind up feeling really, really shitty and heavy for a longer time? I mean, you're still going to have those heavier emotions. We're still going to feel frustration and sadness and anger and disappointment, but not for as long. And that's the key, to learn how to let those go quicker. Because then they're not dragging us down. Then it's not adding on to our stress and our anxiety and our overwhelm and our exhaustion. Okay? So, let me know. Okay, drop it in the comments. Let me know. How have you been doing lately? What do you think you could do to, to feel better about the situation, or to have different emotions, or to maybe have those same emotions again, but letting them go faster? Okay? What do you think you can do? Have you tried anything that I've been talking about on my page, on this page? Because these things work, okay? Even though it may seem really silly to, maybe do 100 push-ups when you're in a really pissy mood, next time try it. You're going to feel a hell of a lot more tired. Your arms are going to be sore, but you're also those intense emotions are going to be a lot less. Okay? They're going to drop in intensity. So again, and another big important thing here, guys, is because remember, our day impacts our night, our ability to sleep. So if we're dragging all these crappy emotions around with us for days or weeks or months, well, how do you think that's going to affect your sleep? And the less sleep you get, the less able you can't function as well. You mentally can't function as well. Physically, you can't either. And you can't manage those emotions as effectively. Okay? So again, if you guys are interested in getting access to this 5-day workshop, it's the week, I think it's October, I think the Monday is October 25th. Drop sleep in the comments here, and I'll get you access to that workshop, okay? I'm only gifting a few spots to that, and we're going to be diving into some of this stuff and other really simple techniques that you can start using from day one, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching, everyone on the live and everyone who's watching on the replay. I love you guys. Oh, and for my Canadian friends and family, I hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving. I will be on this weekend, though, but just in case you are not. I love you guys. Have a great night.